So now, let me officially welcome all of you to this orientation program of 2025 answer writing course that you have joined with the GeoEcologist. And for this session, I am your mentor. I am Dr. Krishnanand. And just a brief about me, I'll tell you before I know brief about you. Each of you, I'll give you 2 minutes to speak about yourself. So I have about, say, a learning experience of 18 years and continuing, now 19 years and continuing in geography. So I started geography since 2006, and this is 2025 when I'm talking to you. So about, say, 19 years, 19th year of my life, I'm still a student of geography. And I have been learning, I have been teaching, I have been doing my research, I have been guiding, I have been mentoring. I have been learning methods of how geography can be simplified, how it can be written in a manner where a person reading your answers, would be impressed in a particular examination. So right from state civil services to UPSC examination to UGC net for assistant professor examination, I have been mentoring so many students across India. And as you all sitting from different corners of the country right now can observe that you are already from, your distribution is already across India. So I have a variety of students across India, and they have done really well for themselves. This year also we had a great result. Our geography optional student, two of our students scored really well. One of them is Sonnet Jaws, who was part of last year answer writing course, and also she revised through YouTube videos and others. So she scored really well. She scored 279 marks, and rank was 54 across the panel. And then 190 rank holder is again Shri Krishna. He's from Andhra Pradesh, and Kerala. Say she's Sonnet is from Kerala. So these are two people who have qualified this year, and I think Shri Krishna's score is 276. So both of them have scored 276, 279. About say 275 plus scores are there. And geography optional had really, a great role to play in their success, as you may have seen on YouTube videos where I share their journey with all of you. So not to share that part here. And Sri Krishna would be joining us in this answer writing sessions in test series. So you'll be able to look at his answers in this session as well, right? In this 2 month series, he's again going to be part of this course as well, because this year also he has given prelims. I don't know, he might have an idea of improving his rank or something. So this year also he has given exam, and this year also he'll be doing answer writing course. Okay. So with that, I also want one thing to just open up to all of you, as we talked on phone call before and while registering thing. So this is going to be a 2 month thing, and 2 months are, roughly 2 months. When I say maybe July end we finish or August first week we finish, that is the rough timeline that we finish up. So in this 2 months, when we discuss answer writing, the first thing that I want you to do is remove all the old baggages of learning. First of all, you need to, forget what you have, learned in terms of answer writing, not in terms of knowledge. Okay. If you have any theories in mind that, this is the way to do UPSC answer writing, some topper said this is the method, some coaching institute said to you that this is the method, I just want you to do it, just do it undone. Okay. Forget what people said, what perceptions you have in mind. Why? Because if you're already full, you will never get what I mean by, answer writing and what needs to be done for answer writing. So you shouldn't be full. You shouldn't have apprehensions in your mind, perceptions in your mind. Okay. You should only be understanding one thing, that there is a flow of knowledge in terms of answer writing from me to you, and you're going to prove it with every passing test. You're going to score better, right? And expect least means you don't expect much, that your answers are going to be flowery and great from the day one. Okay. So you don't have any expectation, just write whatever you feel, and whatever methods I'm prescribing you in this session. Okay. Just try and apply it and let me show the results. Okay. I'll show you your results yourself while you do this work that I'm trying to do. Okay. Second thing, which is to be taken care apart from this previous baggage and, perception baggage I told you. Second important thing is that please do not plan too many things for future. That if I don't do this year, what will happen next year and things like that. Forget everything what's going to happen. You only have 2 months in your hand. Okay. So if I tell you that you're going to live only for 2 months, how would you live every day? That's the way you should live right now. Okay. That's your last life. Okay. So after this, only moksha. So what you understand is that you only have 2 months, and live every day exactly how it should be lived. From morning to evening to night, plan yourself, dedicate yourself, understand that every time the clock completes 60 minutes, right? 60 seconds, things are moving ahead. So you should also move ahead with it. Right. That's the focus I am asking you to just bring to your life right now. Forget what's happening around you. So many things will be going around. Monsoon season is here, so floods will happen around you. Remember that. But, against that all odds around you, you have to work hard, right? And very smartly as well at the same time. So these are a few things I'm just telling you in the beginning to brief up your mind. Now I'll come to each of you one by one, and I'll just want you to tell me two things. One is just about your name, your location, and your qualification. And one more thing, that what are you facing a problem or a challenge in terms of answer writing? I just want these things from your side. Everybody's understood what I said? In your introduction, I don't want anything else. Your name, your location, your education, and your challenge for answer writing. I just want to know this. So I'll start first with Kumar Aditya. Aditya, you can unmute and you can talk.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone. My name is Kumar Aditya, and I'm from the small industrial town of Bokaro Steel City, located in Jharkhand. And I have completed my graduation BA in Geography from Banaras Hindu University, though I learned much more from Krishnanand sir than in my time in university. This is something that I always tell everyone. And the major hurdle that I'm facing, since I joined sir's class in 2022 batch, if I remember correctly. I was there in 2022 batch, and it took me roughly 2 years to crack prelims after that, and now finally I'm here. And in the middle, I have not been practicing answer writing very much, but the major problem that I'm facing right now is to make my answers more representative. Like, I am able to mug up, and I am able to write whatever. I'm able to remember points, theories, everything, but I can't just make my answer more representative so that it may catch an eye and I may fetch good marks. This is my problem.
All
Thank you.
right, Aditya, thank you. Bharati, unmute yourself and speak about yourself.
Good evening, sir. My name is Bharti, and good evening, all. I am from Visakhapatnam, from Andhra Pradesh, sir. I completed my BTech from in 2016. Now, uh, I worked in police department, and now I gave resignation to the department, and I started preparing for UPSC from last year. This year, I gave a glimpse attempt, but I couldn't clear this year. But um, I have chosen geography optional. Um, I cleared, I completed reading the syllabus, but I have not started answer writing. So I just want to take the classes. Yes.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Bharti, thank you. Brijesh, you can unmute and speak.
Good evening, sir, and hello, everyone. I am Brijesh from Lucknow, and I have done BA LLB from National School University, Bangalore. And I have, so in terms of, so this will be my third attempt, and the last two attempts I could not clear the prelims. And this time I am like hopeful that I will be clearing. And in terms of answer writing, the problem I face is that I do like initially I will get few points and then I get blank what to write. That is the problem with me, and so I actually joined this course for that.
All right, Brijesh, thank you. Sangeet, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Yes, good evening, everybody. My name is Sankeet. I am coming from Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, and I graduated MBBS from Government Medical College, Chennai. I graduated in 2022. This will be my third attempt. I passed first prelims and just missed interview cutoff by 12 marks. After that, I want to improve my optional. Last time, second attempt, I couldn't qualify prelims. And after that, I took SARS video classes, and I find it very helpful, and it is recommended by one of my friends. I find it very useful, especially that I am struggling with conceptual clarity and time management mainly, and that content overload in the case of geography. Geography is a vast optional, as you all know. So I'm mainly struggling with the time management and content overload. But after watching classes, I feel that little relieved, and I am improving on that content part. And answer writing, I am improving by watching your videos, sir.
All right, all right. Thank you, Sangeet. Akanksha, unmute yourself. Speak up.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to everybody present in this meeting. I'm Akanksha Nandi. I belong from Raniganj, West Bengal. I completed my graduation in economics, BSc Honors in Economics from the University of Calcutta last year only. And this is the first serious attempt that I'm giving to the UPSC exam. Regarding this attempt, I needed guidance for the optional subject which I learned from sir's pre-recorded lectures. And right now for answer writing, if the content, the content that sir has provided, and also the things I've learned from my school days and from the books, but I don't know how to pen it down in the manner UPSC expects me to do so. So I'm here to learn how to frame and write the way UPSC demands answers.
Great, Akanksha.
And also to learn in that.
All right. Okay, Ranjan, go ahead. Speak up.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, everybody. Myself, Ranjan. I'm from Sangli, Maharashtra. I did agriculture engineering from Kokon Krishi Vidyapit, and then I started preparing for UPSC. This is my fourth attempt, and in first attempt I didn't clear prelims. In second attempt I appeared for interview, but not able to look into the finalist. In third attempt I didn't clear mains, and now I'm appearing for third mains. And regarding answer writing, uh, I, I feel that I'm missing some geographical terms in my answer writing, in my answers. And other hurdle is that despite having conceptual clarity, not able to implement on that paper. This is the major thing I'm facing right now.
All right,
Thank you,
Ranjan,
sir.
thank you. And Ritik, unmute, speak up.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am Ritik. I am from Hisar, Haryana, and I have done my master's in geography from Punjab University. So I am preparing for assistant professor exam here. I am not preparing for UPSC. तो मेरी प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि जो मैंने यूनिवर्सिटी में मास्टर्स की थी, तो मेरा आंसर राइटिंग का जो तरीका होता है वो जो यूनिवर्सिटी स्टाइल है वही होता है। तो मैंने उसको थोड़ा इम्प्रूव करने के लिए सर के जो लेक्चर्स थे, वो जो रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर्स थे वो देखे थे, तो उससे सीखने को मिला कि बेसिकली मतलब कैसे लिखते हैं। लेकिन एक प्रॉब्लम शायद अभी भी है कि शायद हाँ रूल्स का पता है, लेकिन जब मैं लिखने बैठता हूँ तो मैं अपने नेचुरल वे पे आ जाता हूँ। शायद यहाँ पे मेरी इसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट हो जाए। थैंक
All
यू।
right. All right. All right, Ritik. Thank you. And last, Omika, unmute, speak up.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. So, my name is Umika Sharma, and I have done my graduation in BSc Non-Medical from Chandigarh. And the problems that I'm facing in answer writing, actually, I haven't done much answer writing in geography. This is my first with geography optional, but they are content when I'm writing rather than explaining all of content and all that I have read, how to meet the demand that answer specifically asking in precise and concise terms, how to squeeze all material in what to write, and with other is with time management, how to manage time and be able to complete all the question paper.
All right. All right. So good. Now you can mute yourself. Okay, so largely you got the picture of your group, guys. So this is our group right now. Maybe few people might join because we have still some seats left after prelims result is because they wanted that if they clear, then only they will join. So I gave them assurance that okay, we will go ahead from today onwards, and maybe few of your, friends would join after prelims result is there. So largely we'll have a group of very few people where each other, you can read your answers, you can learn from each other's answers also, and we'll having, a discussion on the Zoom session as usual. So this is the way we learn. Now coming to the orientation program, what you need to understand and how you need to understand everything I'll discuss. So what I'm doing is I'm sharing my screen with all of you. Okay, just keep looking into the screen and see if you can read what is written on the screen. Okay. So if you can read it carefully, all of you, I'll just confirm from all of you that whether you can read it. Introduction to Answer Writing, Geography Optional, Paper 1 and 2, right? Dr. Krishnanand, the geoecologist. Okay. So everybody is able to see my pen working on your screens. Okay. Give me thumbs up if all of you can see the screen. Right. So while I speak, you'll not be able to see me. You'll only be able to see the screen. So now when I explain things, whatever you get, anyway, I'll give you this PDF, what I'm sharing with you. Okay. In the group, I'll post the PDF after the lecture is over. While I'm telling you things, absorb everything carefully. And if you want to make some notes out of this lecture, orientation lecture, you can note it for yourself. Okay. Otherwise, anyway, I will be sharing this PDF. So don't write what's written on the screen. Everybody is clear what I'm saying? Whatever is written in the PDF is already going to be with you. So don't have to write everything which is there on screen. Write things which I explain, which I tell you about the things that's written. Okay. So take lecture notes carefully now. Okay. I'm just sharing the screen and I'm starting with it. Okay, so first thing that I tell you is I've already given you the schedule, how we are going to conduct the test series in the month of June and July. So if you observe, our first test is scheduled on 7th. Okay, next is here on 9th, but I have decided that at least I'll give you 3 days gap. So not on 9th, maybe on 10th we'll have the next test. So you'll have 2 days off so that you can prepare for the next test. So we'll make it 3 days of gap. We'll not do it as it is shown in the schedule, so that we can finish up, say, maximum by what? First week of August. Okay, that is our target. By say 4th or 5th of August, we'll finish, because we'll move a little, ahead in terms of the number of days that I scheduled in the earlier thing. Everybody is clear what I said? Minimum gap I want is 3 days minimum gap between two successive tests. Okay, so we'll go with the syllabus flow itself. As I told you, we'll have 18 sectional tests and 2 full tests in the end. Okay, so 18 sectional test is where you have to learn and do better with every passing test. So if I tell you that first test is on 7th, okay, so first test will be of which subject? Paper 1, physical geography, geomorphology. That's where we begin. So what you have to do is revise the concepts of geomorphology. Okay. And when I put the question paper in the group on 7th morning, whatever time, 10, 11 a.m., you don't have to start writing then and there. Okay. What you have to do is see the question, frame your mindset. Okay. And then plan that at what time are you going to go for the test. Suppose you want to give the test at 2 p.m. after lunch when you're settled, or you want to give it, say, in the evening or in the night. You can take your time. But the only requirement is when you write like you are in examination hall. That is the only requirement. You have to make an examination hall at your home. Okay? Let everybody sleep. Nobody is able to disturb you. Okay? Start the timer. Tests will be for 30 minutes. So start the timer for 30 minutes. Start writing. When 30 minutes alarm is done, stop your pen, drop your pen then. This is the method of test I am asking you to do. Everybody is clear? Give me thumbs up if you understand what I said. On the day of the test, I'll be giving you question paper in the WhatsApp group. Take your time, decide your time, and give your test as per your own convenience. But don't exceed the time limit. Even if you have done badly in the test, it's okay. Okay, even if you could not answer all the questions, it's okay. Just be on time. That's the first requirement of the test. And give it exactly like you will be in examination hall. No help from outside, no left, right turning, nothing. You, your paper and your pen and the question paper. That's it. So make sure you are training your mind for examination in this way at your home. That's it. That's what the first requirement is. So first test is 7th. It's geomorphology test. Start revising geomorphology. And I already told you in the backspace when we were talking to each other, I told you that start revision of the first topic already. So we'll have 2 tests of geomorphology. On 7th, we'll have first test and the successive test. On 10th, again, we'll have geomorphology test. Okay. Then we'll go to climatology. So before every test, I'll tell you what the next test is going to be and when the next test is going to be. If there is 1 day plus minus, that we can adjust in the group itself. But largely tentative schedule I have already given you, so you should plan accordingly. Now the question is, if you are only reading geomorphology for next 2 days, is it the way to prepare? No. Again, you have to study general studies preparation as well. You have to study other papers as well. You have to do other practices as well. But just 2-3 hours of geomorphology revision you have to do between the gaps. Are you getting my point? Don't just sit morning to evening and just study geomorphology because you have a test on 7th. That's a wrong way of doing it. You have to balance every other subject in your routine in these 2 months and also write your optional test. I hope I'm clear to all of you, right? So make sure that you manage your time and manage your thing well accordingly. Now, come to geography optional. Okay. So people who have studied from my notes, from my video lectures, from YouTube, they have certain ideas about what I speak about when I say geography. I always talk about this SST concept, just a brief to all of you again. So when I say be geographical in your approach, in your mindset, okay, it means what? You have to talk about space. So when I say spatial component, it means you have to either talk about local, regional, global, you can talk about district, you can talk about state, you can talk about country, or you can also look into location, area, right? All these are pertaining to, these words are pertaining to being spatial. So what is the first thing of mindset? If you are a geography optional student, everything that you look at will be through the lenses of spatial analysis. Okay, what is this lens I'm wearing? It's basically for filtering that UV rays or light, okay, protecting my eyes. So through this lens, when I'm looking at the world looks different. So if I say for geography optional student, the only lens to be looking at the world is spatial lens. You look at everything geographically. That's the first requirement of mindset. Okay. If you don't think spatially at everything, things will sometimes become mathematical, sometimes they will look social, sometimes the same thing will become economic, but it will never become geographical for you. Are you getting my point? Anything and everything around you should be first order spatial. What is the spatial component of it? Right? So that is the first thing that you need to know about everything around you. Any newspaper you're reading, any article you're reading, anything for any subject. You must be reading so many things for UPSC, isn't it? So this is the mindset that says think geographically. So if you are thinking geographically, then only you will be able to convert that thought in your writing. If you are thinking economically, would it sound geographical when you write? I'm sure you know what I mean. If you're thinking mathematically, would it be geographical when you write? No. So this is the first training that you should go about is with geography optional. Start thinking about things, phenomena, events, people, anything and everything. From which lens? From the spatial lens, right? Local, regional, global, district, state, country, location, area, anything that you have, right? You talk about places, right? We have question paper based places as well every year. Then comes the next thing, which is mindset training for geography optional is scale, the concept of scale. So when I say scale in a very simple manner, I always explain scale as something called zoom factor, right? Let me explain it to you in a very brief. What is zoom factor and what is scale about it? What is this? So when you click a picture, right? And then you start zooming into the picture to check whether the details are correct or not. But when you zoom into the picture, what is important? The whole picture you cannot see. You can only see close. But when you zoom out, you can see the whole picture. Do you understand what are you doing? You're changing scales, right? So understand everything around you which is spatial will also be on some scale, right? So you're thinking of space, you're thinking of scale should be correct. Now, how to understand this? If I tell you that the question has a demand of regional level, but you are talking about the whole country, you're giving examples from world around, it will be invalid for your answer. You have to answer in the same scale where the question lies. If question is asking you to analyze at district level in India, analyze at district level in India. If question is asking you the whole country level, answer with factors and reasons for the whole country level. With every scale, what will change? The factors will change in your answer. The attributes will change in your answer, right? The same factor which you talk about when you explain cyclone will not be there when you talk about thunderstorm in local area. Factors will change with scale, right? Same factor will not be there when you talk about monsoon. Factors will change with scale. Local rainfall, western disturbance, monsoon, cyclonic rainfall, everything is part of the same system, but at different scales, right? So you need to be very aware about scales in your answer. That is the very important mindset training. So two things I told you, being spatial and being to the scale, right? These are the major two ways of thinking, training your mind to look into around you for everything. Then your geography will start flowing, right? Through your pens on your paper. Okay, so the next thing, that is the third component for mindset training, and that is obviously time, the temporal part, right? So when I say temporal, when I say time, what do I mean by that? So the first two things are spatial and scale component. Time is basically the temporal component that we talk about. And with time always comes two things when I say geographical. One is our human time, and one is which we talk about geological time scale. Did you understand what I said? Whenever you look around things, we talk about time in two sense, two things, right? So if you are getting a question in geography optional where you need to have a sense of geological time scale, make sure your answers represent geological time scale. And for that, you have to learn geological time scale. You have to know what do you mean by this, right? If there is a word called carboniferous, right? For example, so you have to know what is Carboniferous. How will you write about anything related to plate tectonics if you don't know what is Holocene, what is Pleistocene, right? If you're writing about Himalayan formation. So you know that what is tertiary. If you're talking about Deccan lava, tertiary lava flows, how do you know that what is tertiary time period? You're getting my point, what I'm trying to say? Two, for physical geography, larger time scale is to be understood. With reference to time, you have to write. For phenomena which is on geological time scale, in hours, minutes and seconds and years and centuries, you can talk about in human time. So human time is roughly 10,000 BC. You can still talk about, okay, till 10,000 BC, 5,000 years old, 10,000 years old history, Neolithic sites, we can still talk about, right? But if I tell you 300 million years ago, Pangea formation started. Now 300 million years ago, right? It is not to be understood by a normal common human being. You cannot assume, you cannot even imagine what is 300 million years. Out of 4.6 billion years of Earth's history, it's nothing. You're getting a point. So if I tell 65 million years ago, Himalayan formation started from Sea of Tethys, I'm writing this in my answers, you understand, for some reason. But if I have no idea about what is 65 million years ago, what time period what is Cretaceous, what is Jurassic, what is Triassic, what happened, so the idea of time in geography has to be there. Now, understand if I am talking about human time. Now, come to human time. So, if I tell you something happened post Darwin, and there is a question from models, theories in human geography where we talk about the impact of Darwinism in geography. What happens after Darwin? What kind of theories are made? What happened to capitalism? right? Why those kind of populist theories were made during First World War or Second World War? What happened? Now, this is human time. You need to know that chunk of history. So, knowing geography, people say that they are also scoring good in historical questions many times. Why? Because you have to learn it in an integrative manner. If you're good with timelines, if you're good with temporal analysis, it will help you not just in optional, but in your GS paper analysis as well. Okay? For any understanding, space and time is must. And in geography, this is the core. Only one more is scale. So you have space, scale, time. If you can break every question on three parameters, what is it talking about? Spatial parameter. What is the scale of the question? What is the time of the question? You have broken the demand of the question first. You're getting my point? And then is the human component, the argument that question wants to answer, address, right? That we are talking now. So I have given you a very basic formula of mindset training, how to think geographically for geography optional answers. If you're thinking on SST, your answers would sound geographical. Otherwise, it will sound economical, it may sound social, it may sound mathematical, it may sound anything but geographical. If SST is not there, geography is not there. So, what is the first learning in orientation program? Your every answer should be based on the philosophy of SST, space, scale, and time. If any of these components are missing in your answer will be half geographical, right? Incomplete. Any teacher, professor who would be checking your paper for UPSC exam would just by a glimpse of reading will tell you that this answer has been written by a person coming from engineering background. They don't have any idea of geography because it doesn't sound geographical. It sounds very general. So optional is key, and many people keep complaining that geography optional is very technical or they don't score marks only because they don't understand this basic nuance. These little things that why and how things have to be made geographical, right? So I have made certain points for all of you to read. Anyway, I'll give you the PDF where you can read. I'm just briefing through the points that how will you attempt the answers in geography for UPSC mains, and some tips are there. So I'll just quickly give you the points. First thing is a good reader and analytical mind. So carefully reading is the first point and understanding the question, identifying the keywords and specific demands of the question is the first component, right? How to do it, we'll be doing through the test series and you'll understand. Planning your answer. Now, the word sounds very lengthy, isn't it? Sir, one question is to be answered in 9 minutes. How much planning time is not there in an examination hall, isn't it? And that's the bigger challenge. While you are reading, your planning should continue parallelly, simultaneously planning. While you are reading the question, you should understand the demand of the question and planning should go ahead. Oh, the question asked about the application of cycle of erosion on Indian landscape. Okay, so I have these quick points in my head. Cycle of erosion, Davis. Okay, fluvial cycle of erosion. So you have these factors. You have this area, you have this river, you have this landform. While you are reading, this should happen. Resonance. Things should resonate in your head while you are reading. If by reading once, this resonance doesn't happen in your head, read it 2 times. Because this is important. If I read a topic in geography, the words related to it should automatically pop up in my head. I said Indian monsoon, and suddenly in your head, jet stream started coming. Right? Suddenly, name of some scholar started coming. Suddenly, El Nino, La Nina started coming in your head. It means you're on right track. If your head is giving you blank, it means you're not on right track. So move to the next question. Don't realize that question right now because it's going blank. So this is your own test. Just while you read the question carefully, keyword should automatically starts in your head. It should start coming on your head, right? You should not stay blank. And for that, careful reading. And of course, all you have done in these 2-3 years, you have practiced. That is when the time comes when mind has to function in correct manner. So while we do the test series, this functioning will start in your head. That's what my job is here, to train you how to start doing this. Okay. So I'm just giving you steps, but the methods you will follow from the test series onwards, right? Now, the most important thing in the writing would be your clear and concise introduction, providing the context to the answer, right? Of course, you know that thinking does not give you marks, right? Writing will give you marks. So your introduction, your first line itself, your first paragraph that you write itself is going to be really important, isn't it? So the basic problem with people is question asks particular thing and your answer starts in a particular way as you think about it. So the very simple techniques, for example, I'll give you one thing, that when the question is asking something, the question has certain keywords, start your answer from explaining the keywords itself. Start with the question itself rather than giving a background, a history to it. Not every question demands that and is not required. Some people have the idea that I'll start with a fact. If there is a question on waste deposition in India, waste disposal in India, waste problem in India, I'll start writing what UNESCO says or UN says. There's no need to start with that. First, you need to address the problem itself in the first paragraph rather than giving a fact. These are the things we are going to learn while you write your answers in the series, right? But just a brief, I'm telling you that your introduction is going to be very valuable. The rest of the answer is going to sit on that itself. So structuring your answer, writing it in paragraphs or points or heading methods or subheading methods, all of them are appropriate. There's no problem with that. And relevant examples and relevant facts are very important. To address any question, how relevant is your example and your fact is important. If you're stating universal truths in your answer, it's useless fact. You're getting my point, what I said? Some truth which is very commonly available, common factual things, which everybody knows, India is the seventh largest country in the world, that's why we are biodiverse, is useless to say. It's not good. Because you're talking about biodiversity, you need to be biodiversity. You have to talk bio and diversity. You have to talk about latitudinal extent, your climate, your soil, things like that. You're just talking about biogeography in India. You're not talking about India ranks this. You cannot start your answer with India ranks this in biodiversity or hotspots in India. You're getting my point. So there are things around, people keep writing because they learn so much. Now, the challenge here is out of so much learning, filtering that learning and putting it into that particular genre of the question that the demand is. So that is what we are going to train in the entire session here with all of you for 2 months. Then to be concise and to the point, I always say in geomorphic terms, simplicity is more complex, right? Simplistic realities are more complex. This is a very interesting thing in geomorphology. The simplest of concepts in geomorphology are the complex, the most complex ones, right? There is no simplicity in reality, right? Reality is way more complex. We try to break that. So to be concise and to the point is the biggest challenge. If you can be concise to the point and you can make meanings of the question, if you can make meanings to the examiner, I'm sure you'll get great marks, right? So that is very important. Sometimes people keep repeating and doing things like that. So repetition is supposed to be not there. You can read all these things. Develop balanced perspective, right? If there is something where your view is asked, your perspective is asked, in those kind of questions that test you, what do you think? What's your viewpoint on the world? Your world view, your India view, right? And if you are biased in real life, you might be biased. Bias is a human nature, and bias is not wrong, first of all, understand. But from biasness to getting balanced is the journey for civil servants. Civil servants cannot be biased, right? They have to have their own perceptions and things. They have to have their beliefs and faiths, but barring everything, they are civil servant. And that's the quality you have to bring to your answer, right? So it means you have to have a balanced perspective, analysis of a question on the basis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, challenges, SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis. These kind of things you should be ready with. That you just don't write weaknesses or criticism, but also the positive side of things, the futuristic side of the things, how things can be taken as a challenge rather than only issues. I always keep talking about it, right? That you should not only talk issues and challenges, right? Everything for a UPSC aspirant is a challenge. It's not issues or problems. So defining things in a way of a challenge. is a good way of writing an answer, right? So these are the things we'll be talking about when you write answers in the tests, right? Developing balanced perspective, doing critical analysis, drawing some connections, linkages. Geography is a science of interlinkages. One thing is linked to the other. So how you draw interlinkages and how fine you write your conclusion. Now, general problem with people is they write everything to the point of the question, and in conclusion they start something new. So never write new things in conclusion. Conclusion of the answer has to answer the question rather than, if there is a question on the, say, solar panel or say solar energy in India and its perspective on that. Some question is asked on solar energy, right? Renewable source of energy. And suddenly you have written the whole answer, and at the end of the answer, you start writing something else because it's connected to solar energy, right? So there'll be a problem. You have to conclude, you have to bring to the end. Your end should not start something new. If in the whole question you have not talked about anything related to, which is part of the question, suddenly new thing should not be written in the answer. Your conclusion should look like the sum up of things, right? Not the beginning of something new, right? So this is the mindset of writing a good conclusion in your answer. It should answer the question. So if somebody reads only introduction and conclusion, the reader should know, right from your introduction to conclusion, the reader should know how well you have addressed the question. Just by reading 2 paragraphs of your answer, I can understand what you have done with the question. Did you understand the question or not? I don't need to even read your full answer, right? So be aware about these 2 parts, introduction and conclusion. Carefully, they should address the question. And of course, time management and revision and edits definitely is needed. So that is what we do. Now, some more points on what, why, how, all the discussion that we're going to do. So the first point to do well in geography optional is read syllabus thoroughly and by heart the syllabus. If you have not done, do it now. If you have already done, very good. Why I say by heart the syllabus? Because if you know what is there in paper 1 in geomorphology in this unit, what is there on your fingertip, half the work is already done, right? Because if geomorphology has rock component, biogeography has soil component, and agricultural geography has agriculture component, economic geography. And if there is a question involving all the three, then you need to be good with paper 1 and paper 2 and interconnection. You get my point what I'm saying? So if somebody doesn't have a good idea of soil, then you only know rocks and agriculture. How will you answer? So that's why I say that you need to be thorough with your syllabus. No line or word of your syllabus should be unheard of you, right? It shouldn't be like, I've read it, but I don't know where, in which unit exactly it falls. So to do that, very good practice is take a blank sheet, write the syllabus with your hand. If you have done it, good. Do it again after the session. Today, everybody has to write their syllabus. Paper 1 syllabus, paper 2 syllabus. Just write down, just copy that from UPSC syllabus. Are you getting my point what I said? Just writing the syllabus itself will solve so many things in your head. Okay, write your syllabus. Very important. So that it's thorough on your fingertips, right? The second thing is refer to the questions from previous year questions, right? Then you have geography, which is subject of diagrams, right? So diagram is the most important thing. And if you have seen the interview of this year qualification, Sri Krishna, he said what? Because I press every student of mine to make a lot of diagrams and maps, everybody starts practicing too much of maps and diagrams. I make them think in such a way that no question without diagram. Even if the question doesn't give you direct requirement, still you can make some flow diagram. Still you can do some scribbling, scratching. No question should be just textual analysis. Your pen must move into some form of map making or diagram making or flow diagram making. Any sort of construction must be there in your answer. Okay, that's must for geographical answers, right? Then coming to the next point is map, of course. So map is 2 maps that you have to practice: world, India, and of course the same has to go through regional maps. How it is, I'll just tell you. And of course, word limits have to be practiced and time management has to be practiced. Then comes to that part where everybody in your introduction spoke technical terms for geography, right? Every subject has a vocabulary, a dictionary, isn't it? So geography has its own dictionary. So when you explain something geographically, would you use a common English language or a geographical English language? You understand what I mean, everyone here? Your language should reflect geography. It should not be flowery English because your English is very good. You have written good answer. No. Even if it is wrong English, even if it is grammatically incorrect, it should be geographically significant. So technical terms of geography should be very commonly in your answers, commonly found in your answers. For example, topography, precipitation, denudation, mass wasting, region, location, regional, directional, spatial, shape, size, tone, texture, situation, association. These are the common words in geography. These are geographical words, right? Now, paper 1 integration with paper 2 is very important, right? So, Köppen classification you study in paper 1 climatology, right? But when I talk about geography of India and climate of India, then if you have learned Köppen classification, you will also know Bihar, where I belong, which Köppen's classification category applies to Bihar, right? And what about your state, where you belong? You belong to which Köppen's classification category? What is the characteristic? This is what I mean by integrating the knowledge of paper 1 and paper 2. If you have learned something conceptually in paper 1, you should be able to apply the knowledge in paper 2 and write in your answer. Paper 2 otherwise would look like a general studies answer. Okay? To make paper 2 effective, integrate with concepts of paper 1. Conceptual background is always coming from paper 1, remember. For any question of paper 2, Geography of India. Geography of India is a description about India. It's a data about India. It's not the concept. It's not the theory. It's not the model. So where do you understand the concept, theory, and model? Paper 1. So that will be applied in paper 2. So integrating will help you, remember. So that's very important that you use this method. You're studying primate city in concept part, paper 1. But what are the primate cities in India? Which cities are primate cities in India? Is primacy available at national level or state level? Right? That's what is the point here. Who gave primate city concept? Where did we learn? And what does it mean to India? That's how paper 2 answer will be written. Right? So if you look at the answers of Sonnet, she said that this year what she did was for one of the questions, she did this application in paper 2 and she scored amazingly well in paper 2. From paper 1, she took the concept, right? That Patrick Geddes gave the concept of conurbation. And what are the conurbations being formed in India right now? Look at Delhi NCR, right? What is happening? Look at Mumbai and its surroundings. What's happening? Look at Bengaluru and its surroundings. What's happening? So you'll find conurbations evolving in India. But the concept is Patrick Geddes, coming from paper 1, settlements. You're getting my point? How to integrate here. So paper 2 answers will be written with the help of paper 1 concepts. That's what we're talking about. That's very important. And of course, what you require is heading, subheading methods you can utilize as per the need. Coming to the next, referring to scholars. Why is it important? It might not sound very important to you in physical geography. It might not sound to you very important in paper 2 geography, but in human geography, the word itself is, as I always say in my lectures, human. Right? It's human geography. Human geography answers cannot be devoid of scholars. Somebody from geography background, some professor who is going to check your paper of human geography, and they have asked a question on urbanization, on urban theory, on some model, they would like to see the name of that scholar who gave that theory. Are you getting my point? So you should be well versed with scholars and their contribution, especially for human geography component. Although you can use this method for others also, but I'm just telling you for human geography. Okay, so very important that you have the idea here very clearly, right? So Davis, Penck, King, Airy, Pratt, Wagner, Holmes, Kober, Vidal de la Blache, Richard Hartshorne, Industrial Theory, Weber, Christaller, Mackinder, Carlos Haar, so many scholars are there. I'm not saying you should know all the scholars, but at least theme-wise, some from physical geography, some from human geography should be on your fingertips. And of course, the use of case studies. And what is case study? If you're talking about mining problems in India, if you come from Raniganj and Bokaro, you know it. But what about others? Right? So what are the mining problems in India? What about industrial location theory talking about the plantation of steel cities in India? You're getting my point what I'm saying? So case studies would make it very strong. Rare earth minerals have been found somewhere, right? Lithium has been found somewhere. Why are these important in terms of locational analysis? That's the case study here. Some species have been grown which absorbs some radiation. So these kind of case studies and examples would be an addition. It will be icing on the cake, right? So these are very important to decorate your answer. If you have good examples, good case studies from world and India, paper 1, paper 2, right? That's going to be really, really important. Find out from your current affairs, from general studies, from news that you have studied. You're not going to find it from any particular source. You're going to find out from the studies that you have done already. Just make sure that when your syllabus is on fingertips, for every portion of your syllabus, you have certain case studies. Are you getting a point? How to separate case studies? From general studies only, from general knowing itself. And that's where your map practice will also happen. People keep saying geography optional paper 2, map question, where to practice it from? Where will you practice it from? From everyday life, from everyday studies, from current affairs, places in news. Just spatial perspective has to be clear. If you think spatially, the first thing I told you, will you be worried about mapping? Because you've studied everything through that. Any news you say, oh, place, Meghalaya in news. Let me see what is East Khasi Hill. What are the rivers of Meghalaya? Fine. I saw Meghalaya was in news. I just took into that news and saw where. Okay, Meghalaya, this waterfall, this cave. Okay, fine. Practice is done. Now, separately, if I have to have time to practice maps, I'll never have time. So while you're reading current affairs, while you're reading general studies, while you're reading other papers, places are always there. Right? Can any knowledge be without place? Every knowledge will have certain or the other place, isn't it? So just take it from there itself. Don't practice it from any other source. There is no list of 200 places for this year's exam. If you're doing that, maybe you'll have a good luck. But if bad luck happens, then if you're having only 100 list of places and you're like, okay, this year only this 100 place I'll do. So never limit yourself. All I am saying is, while you're doing these 2 months of practice, learn about GS, learn about current affairs as well, pick some places from it, right? Which you have seen across the news in last 1 year, 1.5 year, for some reason or the other, right? That's how place practice will be done. So that's really very important here, right? As I told you. And policies of government and yojanas, of course, because you're general studies students as well. So you know it, you have to mention, right? And never write any data without mentioning a source. If in any answer you're writing, India produces 9.3 billion tons or million tons of plastics per year, it's invalid because you did not write according to which report. Who said this? Where did you get this data from? India produces 9.3 million tons of plastic per year. Who gave the report? You're getting my point what I'm saying? So if you're using any factual statement in your answer, it should be backed by according to, right? It should be clearly backed by the source. Otherwise, you don't use data, no percentage, no numbers in your answer. If you don't have the source, don't write a vague answer. India is the 5th producer. Who said it? 5th largest producer of XYZ, 4th largest producer of this. India is ranked this. Who said it? So if you are using HDI, happiness index, anything, mention who, which report. So make a list of reports that you would cite in your answer. What is the homework for all of you? List of reports, agencies, which you will quote in your answers to make it look great. So UN agencies, right? Indian government agencies, any organization, any NGO, make sure your report is cited. It sounds like research writing, but you know what? Geographical answers and data sets have to be backed by sources, or else it's invalid data. Anybody can write anything like, any number. So many people are affected by this in India. How do you know? Who knows it? Are you getting my point, all of you, clearly? No? So these are the common mistakes. So in orientation program itself, I'm trying to tell you that how you should be prepared. Okay. And these are basic ways when you're attempting the question finally. So always read the questions carefully. Introduction should be short and crisp. Don't leave any question. Every question carries marks. So you should answer every question, even half, but you should answer. Even if you don't know, 2 points, must answer. Don't leave any question. Highlight important keywords, terms, underline, And with underlining, I have seen a lot of problems. I'm sure I'm going to see that again. What is it? In 5 lines, every line has an underline. Don't do that too much of underlining. Only underline those keywords which pertain to the question. Okay? Too much of underlining will make underlining go useless. To underline is to catch my attention. If you're lining every sentence, every third sentence is underlined, it's useless underlining. But if in a paragraph only 2 words are underlined, it catches my attention. So underline carefully. Don't just keep underlining all the keywords. Okay, very careful. And avoid cutting and overwriting as much as possible. And for 10 marks question, 15 marks question, and 20 marks question, just multiply 1 marks with 15 or maximum 20 words. And you know how much you have to write. Did you get my point? Look at the question, how many marks, multiply with 15, and assume you have to write that many words, excluding diagrams and maps. Okay? Apart from diagrams and maps, just multiply. So if it is 10 mark question, 150 words. 15 marks question, 225 to 250 words. 20 marks question, 300 words. Not more than that. Everybody is clear? Very simple calculation I have given you with marks. When you see the question, check how many marks is the question and multiply with 15, add maps and diagrams accordingly, and be aware with these keywords. If the question is telling you to discuss, don't critically analyze. Discussion basically is what? You're discussing means you're doing component analysis of the question. If it is saying elaborate, you are doing what? Explanation in depth. If it is saying analyze, you are breaking into parts and summing it up at the end. Many people do what? If I ask you do analysis, what will you do? Break into parts but leave it at the end. No. Break the question into small parts to explain, but again at the end sum up. That's called analysis. Every word has a meaning. If the question is using analyze, if the question is saying critically analyze, what will you write? So that's what I'm telling you. These are the keywords to understand the requirement of the question. If question asks you discuss, do the component analysis of the topic. If elaborate, explain in depth. Analyze, break into parts and sum up. Compare. So for comparison, you have to first draw a baseline. You cannot compare Sachin Tendulkar with Virat Kohli. If you have to compare, how will you compare? You have to create a baseline. So for X number of matches in XYZ situation, this is my baseline. Then I can compare Virat with Sachin. That for certain years of age, say for 30 to 35 years of age, when Sachin was there and when Virat was there for 30 to 35 years age, who was better performer? So my benchmark is 30 to 35 years of age, at least. So no comparison without creating a baseline. So whenever you're comparing anything, you need to know that comparison requires a baseline. Critically analyze can be done with SWOT analysis or SWOC analysis, right? Cost benefit analysis, all kinds of analysis has to be done, not just criticize, right? And when it is comment, be very careful. Why? Because UPSC is getting into your head. It's asking you to comment, not write who said what, but what I say about it. So comment questions are supposed to be very critical, very important, because it's testing your mind, it's reading through your mind. The examiner will know what you think. So when you're writing the question saying comment, comment wisely. Okay, that's what we are going to learn in the whole session. Right, so these are the keywords generally where questions are asked from, and this is the basic 3 hours you get, 250 marks, and I'm sure you have seen these kind of things, right? Some options are there for small questions, and this is the sample I've just given you, right? How to write good answers. For example, diagrams and texts have to be placed LHS and RHS. You have to use flow diagrams like this, right? Not the whole India map is required everywhere. You have to make regional maps, sectional maps to explain. Many people have the idea that whole India I'm making for every question. Not needed. But practice is needed, no? How will you draw the map? Otherwise, practice. So the homework is to be done. Mapping practices have to be done. And how you have to do? I have just given you some best practice methods. Obviously, you have to do class notes while I'm giving you lectures. You have to make news notes for places I told you, for current affairs. And now comes some specific methods. You have to take a blank page every night, and whatever you have done in the day, without looking at anything, write it down. Why blank page practice? If you know my courses you have taken, I have said this in my courses to all my students. It's training your mind. You miss certain points, no? I studied, but I don't remember. Your longevity. Why? You studied at 11 a.m. in the morning and you forgot at 11 p.m. in the night. So every day blank page practices are needed before you go to sleep. Everyone does this. 4, 5 pages, 2 pages, whatever blank pages, but every day blank page practice of what you prepared in the daytime, write it by the night and sleep. And blank pages, I don't mean paragraph after paragraph, but jot down points. What did you learn today? What did I do today? People are not doing diary writing. No, our generation was a different generation. We used to write diaries, we used to write things. Now it's more of, So what I'm telling you is do these blank page practices to improve your memory. On every topic of the syllabus, how many points you should have? Minimum 5 points. Every topic of the whole entire geography optional syllabus. Ready to eat 2-minute noodles. 5 points should be ready. I said the topic and you told me, sir, I know 5 points on this topic. I know it's not possible in one day, but 2 months. Okay, you have 2 months of training with me. So by the time you end this 2 months of training, I'll ask you on every topic, do you have 5 points ready? And if it's ready, I bet nobody can stop you from scoring more than 250 marks in optional. Just remember 5 strong, good points with a good map and diagram on every topic in the whole syllabus. That's your target. So these targets I'm defining today. I'm not asking you to be ready tomorrow, right? 30-second map practice. Why I'm saying only 30 seconds? Because for one question, you will not get more than 8 to 9 minutes. If you're making maps for 3 minutes, it's useless. Today, it will take 2 minutes to make a world map or India map. But by the end of this course, how many seconds? 30 seconds you'll be able to draw freehand world and freehand India. Next session, I'll ask each of you, what is your timing? So you have to tell me, sir, I have timed my map making to how many seconds? I want you to time your mapping. Is it clear what I said? Stopwatch, start freehand drawing India. India should not look like amoeba. India should look like India, right? You're doing the biggest exam in our country and you're not able to make geographical map of India. Understand what will happen, right? So you should be doing good maps of India. I know today it will take more time because you have not practiced, but by the end of 2 months, it should not take more than 30 seconds to draw quickly India and quickly world. In one flow, your pen should not stop. Got the targets, but targets are for 2 months, not for tomorrow. So every day you do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you'll do it. Diagram practice. And the last is called Chits method. So Chits method is basically break the whole syllabus into chits. Have you played that game where you take chits and write small codes and people take it and then, act like that? Damshraj or anything like that. It's like the same. Break the whole syllabus into chits, put it in a box, take one chit randomly, start writing blank page. Take another chit, start writing blank page. Can you do that? Of course, you'll be doing it. After a month, maybe. After the whole syllabus is revised well, right? But chits making is very important. So waste some paper for this examination. Make some chits. Whole syllabus should be made chits, put in a box, put on your table. Come from somewhere, revise something, sipping a cup of coffee, take a chit and start writing on blank page. This is called extempore, quick thinking, quick writing, everything on your fingertips, right? So I hope I'm able to orient all of your minds towards geography optional now by the end of this orientation program. And I'm sending all this PDF in the group.